What did they do to my mustache?
What the hell is happening?
What? Is this the monster that was awakened because... Oh, that's cool. I like the turn of the pages. That's cool.
Why?
Do you remember it said that if you go too far back, you awaken the monster? So is that why there are glitches now in time? Oh
No.
my god.
No. We have to go back.
Hey, Squirt, you got a little...
I have to work. My mother. Do the hand. Make the door. We have to try again.
Stop! We've done this before. This is how he does it.
Oh my gosh. What the heck? Oh my god.
First thing to say.
In the Hall of Time, there are demons.
Demons?
I call them demons. Emma, or maybe they're just the animals of time. Predators.
Okay, in the future, if there are time demons, tell me
In
about
the
the time demons.
Sorry.
You want honest? Here's honest. I'm gonna fix this. Whatever it takes. Whatever the universe throws at me. Division 3, time, demons. Send them all. I'll slay them all. Because this is my time. This is David's time. And he's got things to do. So. Switch.
They'll swarm out like wasps. Pretty soon, everything will end.
Force you to.
Oh, wait. What's happening?
What did you just say to me?
I said I am the Alpha and the Omega. I eat monsters for breakfast.
The heck? What is it? That's demonic, bro.
Do not like that.
What's that?
They're here.
Even better.
Nate. That's some, that's demonic laughter. Oh, stuff dying.
Wanna dance? Let's dance.
David, I don't think that's wise.
They're ciphers, time eaters, who live in gravity
Oh,
wells,
you
black
know
holes.
what?
Laws of time don't apply to them. They live in black holes.
That makes sense when
Yes,
Cindy
I
was
think of
the
time
last
as the
season,
wood.
it was like delicious.
They are like termites, living underground. David must have let them out.
How do we fight them?
We can't, not here. They're too powerful.
I'm you. In the future. Hi. You're me in the future. In a Zeppelin. It's an airship.
I'm not crazy. Something was taken from me. My life was taken from me. And it's not your fault. But you can stop this when the time comes. You can save my life. Please remember this. When you hold me, when you sing that song,
Oh, what is that behind him?
think of your David.
What is that behind David?
Save my life.
I always like that name.
Lies.
That girl shook. Yeah. Where are we? In the time between time. They should have no advantage here. Wow.
You tell people, it's fine. I don't own my body. You say, my power is like a vacation. I get to be a tourist in someone else's life. Who cares if every time I come back home I feel dirty?
I just want to be left alone.
I know. People die of loneliness too. They drink too much. Slit their own throats.
Does it get better?
You fall in love.
We're gonna talk about what happened after that.
He has powers, but he's unstable, and for a while it's magic. And then
He had a bad dream.
he turned me around.
It's a horrible way
So we find a desert island.
to like disappoint
Live alone.
yourself, essentially.
I think about that too.
The baby became, popular.
Mommy, I made that for you.
Oh, and a teenager.
Bullshit! Do you want to hold her?
Oh my God.
No. No. Mom. No!
She's tough, stubborn, listens to me, and then does the opposite. I guess it runs in the family.
Mom. He came.
Of course I did.
Oh, who's on to his mouth? Oh, okay, Farouk. What the world?
Oh, now you're listening. Well, listen to this. You want to eat something? Eat shit. Now go tell your friends it's not your time, it's mine. Go. Or I kill every one of you.
Oh,
Where's Switch? Switch?
She's gone, Daddy.
What do you mean she's gone?
He took her. He's a scientist.
Carrie? Took her? Lord.
When the world
okay. So, that was season 3, episode 4 of Legion. Wow. That was definitely a very interesting episode. With the introduction of the time demons, which I knew we were going to see at some point during the series when they talked about it in episode 1, with Switch going back in time and saying that essentially if she goes too far back, then she awakens the demon. I thought she had told David about this, but I guess no, because he seemed genuinely surprised. Not that I feel like even if she would have told him though, he probably wouldn't have cared. He probably would have still done it anyway. But yeah, essentially you kind of see these little glitches where time is being messed with. time is like being lost or it's being sped up or like pushed back. So they're dealing with that like on the Zeppelin, like they're dealing with the loss of time, and then they see like the little time demons, which is really like really crazy looking. So they're all trying to hide and figure out what to do. Then with that's everything that's kind of going on the Zeppelin. I think Farouk ends up killing one of them, or at least maiming one of them. And then you have also like where David is, like Switch and Lenny are there, and they're like, okay, well, what are we gonna do? Because David keeps saying like, oh, we need to go back further, and we need to go back in time or whatever. And Switch is saying that no, I can't do that again. And before he kind of gets his sentence completely out of his mouth, because he essentially tells her like, oh, am I gonna have to force you to do it? And the demons, like the little time demons, come and they kind of cause an interruption. And she was kind of like, well, what did you say? And then they kind of come in and he tells like tells all of them to run. So all the people that are there in his compound, they all run and kind of scatter, as well as Switch and Lenny. They all kind of run and scatter, and David tries to face off with the time demons, and then he is like transported to like a concentration camp. It looks like a concentration camp where his mother is being held, and this is prior to everything that happened last episode. And his mother's just saying like, "Oh, you're crazy like me," and David's like, "Oh no, I'm not crazy." And so, that was very interesting scene between them. And then like David essentially is trying to like escape the time demons, and there are like two of them, and he keeps like trying to like get out from this space where he's in, and they keep like switching the time back. So they're essentially messing with him and playing with him. And like, so that's kind of where David is left. You have Farouk, Carrie, and Clark. They like essentially go into a painting. They're like in a painting, and like I think Farouk said it's the space between time, and that was like really visually cool as well, where they're kind of like traveling, and then you see them kind of like are fighting with the time demons as well, even in the space between time. You see Sydney, who actually encounters her past self. That was a really interesting conversation between present Sydney and past Sydney, and like even just kind of talking about the whole scene that we saw in season 1, where essentially in season 1 Sydney talks about her first sexual experience and kind of like what happened with that. And then like, so it's crazy that that's kind of what she talks about, and how essentially her expectations were one thing, but it was like really disappointed when she did have that encounter. And then like talking to Sydney in the present, she was like, oh, well, did you get married? Did you fall in love? And then man, it's kind of like your heart breaks for Sydney, like present Sydney, because like she has to explain to her past self essentially like, we did fall in love, and it was really cool for a while. And then it was essentially like she has to tell her past self it was essentially the same thing that you experienced like your first time. Like it was essentially the same situation. So I'm like, dang, like that's just real disappointing and heartbreaking. Like, oh man, like you got to tell the girl like essentially it don't get no better. Like, man, like that's horrible. So that's what I gauged from that whole conversation. Like it was just real crazy. Like, it's kind of like one of those things, like if you had an opportunity to have a conversation with your past self, like, wow, like, I don't know. That was a really crazy moment, and like a crazy, like, just interaction. And it just really was sad, and just kind of like you felt for both Sydneys, like the, present day one, because it's kind of like, well, at least if that experience wasn't good, then, you have hope that you'll fall in love, and, it'll be, when you do fall in love and all of that it will be a lot better than what you previously experienced. And for Sydney to essentially like bust her bubble and be like, well, no, really ain't get no better. It actually feels worse now. So I'm like, dang, like, so she's like, we just need to go on a desert island and be to yourself. So then Sydney ends up encountering one of the time demons, which that was really creepy because it was like right on her face. Like really close to her face and in proximity to her, and it had all the little glitches. That was crazy. Then what else did you have happen? Carrie ends up waking up and coming to full awareness that essentially David like mind controlled him into helping him go back into the past. So then Carrie escapes with Switch, and tells her like, oh, if he mind controlled me, what all did he do to you? And so he ended up getting Switch out of there and getting her to the Zeppelin. So I wonder if like David is actually gonna go like try to pursue Division 3 to try to retrieve Switch back, or I wonder what he's gonna do. So because he's really bent on going back in time and changing things. So you had that go on. You also had what else did you have in this episode? Because it was really it was a lot that actually went on in this episode. Like David, essentially, you just see how David, like, I feel like every episode more, like, manifests more how he's the villain. Because it's just like, then he's interacting with these time demons, and then he gets mad and frustrated. He essentially tells them, like, listen, like, what did he say? I don't even remember the line he said, but he essentially told them that he was God, and it was kind of like he just did something and destroyed one of the time demons. He's like, oh, go tell all your friends, or else I'm going to kill you too. And so the time demon goes to all the places where all the other little time demon dimension things are, and they all disappear. But what's really interesting to me is like, Sydney says this line in this episode as well when they're all together, and she's like, oh, this is how David destroys the world. And it's interesting because in last season, like I thought about it, and it's like last season when you see Sydney from the future and she's coming and she's talking to David, and then she has that whole interaction with Farouk to tell Farouk that essentially David is the one that destroys the world, and that's the Sydney who only has like one arm. There were these glitches, which is crazy because it's like, well, I wonder if he's still, even after this, it probably is so, he's still going to try to go back and he's going to awaken maybe something worse than just these little minute time demons. Like, there might be like a leader of these time demons or something, they just around here giggling and laughing and things and playing around, but there might be something that's even bigger than them that's controlling them that David awakens that he's not able to defeat as easily, or dispose of like as easily as he was of these little time demons. So that was really interesting to me because I'm like, oh, I remember that from last season. There were these glitches with Sydney from the future, and it's like, I wonder if this is why, because of David messing with time. And so that was really cool. I look forward to kind of seeing like the future episodes to see, what is done with that, if he's still going to try to go back, and how is he going to get back now that Switch is gone. But yeah, this was a really good episode. Like, I really enjoyed like a lot of these interactions, and like even I really enjoyed a lot of these interactions. Like, really good episode. Is it my favorite of the series overall? I don't know yet. I have to see the rest of the episodes. I would say though, like, just kind of favorite, let me just go right off the bat, like my favorite episode of the series thus far. Probably, I definitely have to watch this one back, of course, but like my favorite one that I've watched, and it was like, knocked the ball out of the park, like, awesome episode from start to finish to me was season 1, episode 7. Like, when they had the whole kind of like silent movie scene, the music, everything was awesome in that episode with like Lenny and trying to kill Sydney, and like, oh man, like, I don't remember what all happened in that episode, but that was a really, really good episode, like season 1, episode 7, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was episode 7. I'm pretty positive it was episode 7. Where it had that little like bolero kind of music, little silent movie scene. Like that was my favorite episode of Legion. This one had elements of that, but of course, as season 3 is different. And I also like season 2, episode 1 with the dance sequence. That was probably like one of my other favorite episodes of Legion. But just because, again, I really love the creative out there elements, where this episode did have that as well. And it pieced a lot of things together. It had a lot of really good components. But I don't know if I want to call it and put it up there with those other 2 episodes that are definitely like my favorites. So anyway, guys, you let me know what you guys thought about this episode below. Definitely make sure you do like this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy this reaction. Also, make sure you share it with anyone else who's watching Legion Season 3. Comment below. Like I said before, let me know what you guys thought about this episode, what you got out of it. Maybe there's some things that I missed in this episode. Definitely comment below. Let me know. Also, make sure you do, make sure you subscribe to the channel, you guys. You do that again by hitting the red button below, making sure you hit the bell next to it so you're notified when I do upload future videos. So again, I'm going to try to go ahead and edit these, get these uploaded to you guys, hopefully this week. We'll see, because I got a lot going on that I need to get done and attend to. But yeah, we'll be definitely the upcoming videos. I might intermingle some other videos here and there with some other stuff. But yeah, the upcoming videos, I'm going to try to go ahead and finish Legion Season 3, and then we'll move on to some other fun stuff. So again, you guys, thank you so very much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.